Yes. Recording. Thank you.
This is not adding up. Why do I have? Oh, because I said 12. He usually comes late. Is he coming?
He said yes.
Okay.
Because we got to finish. Not tonight. All of them.
So I will.
All of them.
But that side
What happened?
It's the acknowledgement that it's recording on the screen and it's always just in the way. And I always forget to.
Were there any other revisions to the minutes other than Ms. Aubrey's?
The only one I see. No, I never. We're good. We're recording.
Everybody good?
Good to go.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the July 13th, 2023 Architectural Review Board meeting to order. Before we get started, I do have a motion that I have to make. First, the ARB needs to determine how long each member of the public will be able to speak during the public comments period. The public will be allowed to comment after the consent agenda items and each action item is a standard ARB practice. I would move that each member of the public will have 3 minutes to speak. Second. Second by Mr. Kowinski. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. This meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be posted online within 10 days. As our tradition at every meeting, before we get started, we read the statement of purpose and intent of historic overlay districts. And this evening, Mr. Kowinski.
All right, so the statement of purpose and intent of historic overlay districts. Historic overlay districts are created for the purpose of promoting the general welfare, education, economic prosperity, and recreational pleasure of the public through the perpetuation of those general areas or individual structures and premises that have been officially designated by the Board of Supervisors as having historical, cultural, architectural, or archaeological significance. Regulations within such districts are intended to protect against destruction of or encroachment upon such areas, structures, and premises, to encourage uses which will lead to their continuance, conservation, and improvement in a manner appropriate to the preservation of the cultural, social, economic, political, architectural, or archaeological heritage of the county, to prevent creation of environmental influences adverse to such purposes, to ensure that new structures and uses within such districts will be in keeping with the character to be preserved and enhanced.
Thank you, Mr. Kowinski. Next is approval of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda? And does anybody have any changes to the agenda? If there are no changes to the agenda, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move that the agenda be accepted as presented.
Is there a second? Second by Ms. Oubre. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I would remind the applicants to please limit project presentations to 8 minutes for a first submission and 3 minutes for a resubmission. And if we have a hefty agenda, so let's all try to be efficient together this evening. Denise, do we have any guests that we can introduce this evening?
Not that I am aware of.
Next on the agenda would be the consent calendar action items. There are none. So now we move into our items for action. And our first item for action is ARB 23-LOR-07, 8913 Yellow Daisy Place solar installation in Lorton Laurel Hill MOA eligible district. The applicant is proposing the installation of utility interactive photovoltaic solar system. Jimmy Poplin of Ion Solar represents the application. Come forward, sir.
Where to go?
Right there is perfect. Yes, sir. Thank you.
If you could speak into the mic, you can raise it up. It will, yeah.
Thank you. I don't know what I need to do, what you guys need from me. Yeah, it's the first time I've been to one of these.
Fair enough. If you could just give us some information about what you intend to do and give us some information about the property and what materials you're using.
Okay.
et cetera.
So it is a photovoltaic solar panel system. In this case, it's 9 panels. And obviously, when you install solar, you want to install on the most beneficial side for sun access. And so in this case, that would be the southern side, which I believe is the front in this case. And all of our, actually it might be back.
You're looking for a map to maybe show,
Yeah,
orient
it's
people.
the second one that is that map, right? And there's a dot on it.
Ah, here. There.
Yeah. So actually, that's on the back. So let me rephrase that. So it's on the back, okay? And so we only use monocrystalline solar panels, which are a black panel, and they're called, it's a black on black, so the framing is black as well. So it's a little bit cleaner. And then as far as that picture right there, actually, that you just pulled up.
That's what I thought.
Yep,
That one? Yep.
So if you see the above house, I know it's probably small here, but all the conduit, as long as we have attic space available, will run through the attic. And so you won't see that. But then on the side of the home, I cannot go through the walls. So it will be on the side, but we'll paint it to blend in with the house. So it's as clean as possible. Unlike the example below that's crossed out where it's just, very visible and a lot of equipment. We have it as hidden as possible, and anything we can't hide, we will paint to match. Okay. I don't know what other information you guys would need or what will be helpful to you.
Sir, if you don't have anything else, I'm certainly happy to open it up to my board members for any questions.
You have the equipment shown on the side of the townhouse. Is there an alleyway or is there a separation between this house and the next?
So it will drop down wherever their meter is. So I believe on this one, the meter is in the back. And so we will run the conduit through the attic, come out to wherever right above the meter, and then run the conduit down to where the meter is.
Looking at the overhead graphic, do you have any photographs of the house from the front or the side, or is it just?
Yeah, I apologize. I should have brought that with me, but I didn't know where to get.
I'm just trying to correlate the aerial view with your drawing to see which side of the house the photovoltaics on. It appears as if it's rear facing, not front facing.
Try to do that.
Yeah, let's see if we can.
Yeah,
get
it is on the rear.
It is on the rear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just mixed up where the dormer was. So it is on the rear in this case, and then the meter on those townhomes are in the back. I normally have a picture of that, but and so that's where the conduit will go, is connecting to the back.
Get a street view.
There was a real
Yeah,
estate, there was a real estate list.
There's,
Oh, there was a real estate listing.
there's a real estate listing. Let
If
me
you
try
go
that
back.
instead. There's no, like, you can't get directly in front of the house. There we go. Let's do that. Oh, street view, perfect.
Does not appear to be.
That's not.
Does not appear to be what I'm seeing on the Yellow Daisy Place.
And there is actually the meter could be on the side because there is space between the two. Between.
This is just Just a one-story house?
It's a, may just be a one story. I'm sorry, it's been a couple months since I've been there. Waiting for this.
Yes,
55
senior,
spots.
yes, yes.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The gated community, yeah.
Okay, so there is a chance it would be a one-story.
Yeah, it is. Yep. It looks like town story on top of you, or town.
And their events are close together.
The same.
And the ARB reviewed and had input on this housing development, which is, I think, one of the first ones built there.
And we had a workshop in somebody a couple of years ago. Want to do something this, like put solar on this roof, and we had no problems with it.
Trying to get a grasp of where this equipment will
Yeah,
actually go on the house.
if I would have known, I would have taken the pictures for you and brought that. But the equipment is definitely, the main equipment is up on the roof. And then there is just a small combiner panel about this big that goes next to the meter. Whether the meter's on the side or the back, that's where it's going to be. And then there's a disconnect box about this big that will be next to the meter.
Yeah, I'm convinced by looking at everybody in our technology. No,
It is not.
There's not, but there's only about 3 foot of separation.
That's right.
Okay, so,
You pass the great coupon from one house to the other.
B-I-L-L-A Villa.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
That's, yeah.
all right, and there's not enough room on that elevation for the electric meter anyway. So my concern was that all of your equipment was going to go on the front elevation. But unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. There is if solar is allowed in the HOA, then there is a law that in Virginia that says you can make reasonable restrictions. But one of they classify what reasonable means by it cannot affect your efficiencies by more than 10% or increase your costs by more than 5%. So if somebody only qualifies on the front, south facing side, and then you're asking them in the back, and it does lower the efficiencies by more than 10%. Then it would be an unreasonable restriction. However, historic districts, I believe, have a little bit of a different
I
leniency.
don't think they're bound by the same rules as the
Right.
HOA.
Correct. So, and I don't exactly know what that, but this one's on the back anyway. But yeah,
Question. I know that with zoning, that they only want eaves goes to project so far, particularly in something this close.
that's right.
Do you ever have, will they check that in this permitting?
Yeah.
process?
So the first picture she showed had the setbacks on there. Every roof plane has to have a 3 feet setback from the edge. So that for fire code type of thing, so somebody can access the roof.
No, I'm talking about, excuse me, I guess I should have said more. So the box that sits on the side,
Yeah.
is it reducing the passage?
No,
between-
it's that wide. It's as wide as any meter would be. So it's not coming out any further. Yeah, I got you.
Any other questions?
I'm curious, most solar proposals that have come before us have attempted to put as many panels on the roof as possible. This one seems quite modest.
So every house is going to be, I've been doing this for 10 years. Every house is going to be unique to that homeowner. Not everybody needs all the roof covered. So it just depends on how much energy they use and how much sun access they get. So an east-west roof is going to require more panels than a home that has a south facing.
In that requirement you cited about you can't affect efficiency more than 10%. Does that assume that the homeowner has the right to pick how much of his roof he wants to carry?
So in the Virginia state law, it's based on the original design proposed that is submitted. And then when the review board reviews it, they can't decrease the efficiency from the original design submitted more than the 10%. But again, historic districts have, I think, a different ability on that, so.
Any other questions or comments? Anyone have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. Mr. Chairman, I move that the ARB approve action item ARB 23-LOR-07 located at 8913 Yellow Daisy, Place Lord Tax Map 7174048 in the Lorton Laurel Hill MOA eligible district for the proposed installation of a utility interactive photovoltaic solar system as submitted and presented at the July 13, 20. Review the materials and proposals found to meet requirements of the memorandum of agreement for the Lorton Laurel Hill eligible requirements of zoning ordinance 3-1 for one historic overlay.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Plumpy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. The next action item on our agenda is ARB 23-LOR-06 Bunnyman Brewery Staircase located at 9514 Workhouse Way in Morton. Applicant is proposing to install new egress staircase for the brewery on building W13 at the Workhouse campus. Michael Wood represents the application.
I am not Michael Wood.
Yes, sir.
Michael Wood is my architect. Sam Gray, one of the two owners of Bunnyman Brewing in Fairfax. I'll give you a fast history to why we're standing here today, if that might help a little bit. So originally about a year ago, one of the customers came in and had let us know that there's a really nice building down at the Workhouse Center, which obviously used to be the prison. Her knowing my history with the prison and being with the fire department for the last 20 years prior, had been in there. She said, hey, you guys need to put this in. They want a brewery there. So that's a great idea. That goes with the legend of the Bunnyman that was being transported from the non-existent Clifton insane asylum down to the Lorton prison, which was hardly even being built at the time that the legend goes on. So I have to, so excuse me. So went down there, started an LOI almost a year ago, roughly a year ago, went through the lease process. I've already been approved for the lease. We've already signed the lease, and we were going through the process of the county doing their remediation and getting ready to turn the property over. During that process, one of the county engineers said, wait a minute, this building has no, it's been approved for occupancy on the bottom floor and the top floor. Apparently, that was wrong. So over the many years that this has been sitting with these approved plans, that was incorrect at the time. So that's why we're here today. So roughly 3 months ago, this happened. We're in the process of building a stairwell on the outside, obviously affecting the architectural significance of the building that we're looking at, if you're familiar with the area. And we had that, and that one that you have there is probably the best one to look up that Mr. Sizer over here put together for your workshop back in May. There is an existing building. There's two buildings on 123, each facing each other. You can probably go a couple slides in, each facing each other on 123. There's 13 and there's 15. You can see at W15 right there, there is a existing stairwell. Apparently this one has not been approved yet for second story access, or egress actually, yet because of just some minor changes that need to be done. Our building, the one prior, W13, you see, if you look at the third picture on the top right, has no exit for the second story besides the interior stairwells. Therefore, the proposal was for allowing our builders, our architect and our design team to build a stairwell that, from the way I understand it, the one on W15 was built in roughly the 2000. I don't know how historical that would be, but to match that as closely as we could for the existing conditions on W13. And all good. We've already submitted the plans to the county. The actual plans are in here. Another, if you really want to go into the architectural details of it, we can go in. The difference between our stairwell, which should be able to show on some slides here. Go down a little bit. Yeah, gives an idea. And also in I think it was the second presentation or third presentation that was uploaded. It has a little bit more detailed actual structural plans that are there with the footers and everything else is going to win. But if you can see the top picture right there, That's actually the proposed stairwell. So as opposed to the W15 that comes out and makes a landing and makes a turn backwards, this one is a straight one with a landing in the middle. Only reason for that change was there's a space, there's a limited space between the road, Workhouse Way, and the building itself, so it had to be a straight stretch adjoining building. This will be a emergency exit only. The inside stairwells are massive with the normal panic bar and all the rest of the things by code. There is a modern light pole that goes right where that doorway is going to be. That's already been put in to be removed, and then they changed the rest of the lighting. Lighting changed over to a light below and a light above. There's a circular window that's going to be taken out. We will have that again. I don't know when that circular window was put in, but obviously if it maintains some sort of significant historical significance. My thought was to donate it to the existing museum at the workhouse if they have some use for it, which we are also hoping to work with them to bring in some of the historical items to use as interior design in our brewery as a whole. That was hopefully less than 8 minutes, but that's where we are, and I'd hope that I can answer any questions for y'all, and I have some, if I can't, I have a couple friends here in the county that might be able to help me on that, so thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone on the board have any questions?
Is the slot, that existing, that black thin?
Yes, ma'am. That's a dormer vent. So it's this vent. There's one on the opposite side of it as well that matches, and it's got a louver vents on it. It's not. It is neat, and they will remain. They're not functional, but it matches the building. Yes, ma'am.
Any questions or comments? If not, I would certainly entertain a motion. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the ARB approve action item ARB 23 LOR06, located at 9514 tax map number 106010058, the Lorton/Laurelville MOA. Construction of a new egress staircase on building W13 and Courthouse campus, as submitted and presented at the July 13, 2023 ARB meeting. On review of the materials and proposals found to meet the requirements of the memorandum of agreement for Laurel Heights eligible district. The requirements of zoning ordinance 3.01 historic overlay districts.
All right, thank you. Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, you have a great evening.
Appreciate it. You do the same.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to the third item on our agenda, which is ARB 23-CRM-02, the Colvin Run Mill Store ADA project located at 10017 Colvin Run Road in Great Falls. This is the applicant proposing to replace the existing porch and ramps at the Colvin Run Mill Store for ADA compliance, to replace the existing path to the bar and blacksmith shop and Miller's house, to create an ADA compliant gathering area with drinking. SWSG represents the application.
I'm Nasser from the architect from SWSG, and I also have the bench with me. We're here to.
Thank you. Thanks.
We're here to present our Colvin Run Mill Park accessibility improvements. So I'll start right ahead with the slide. This first slide shows an aerial view for the existing general store building, and then the blacksmith building and the Miller's house at the bottom. You can also see the existing pathway that connects between.
That's okay. Go ahead.
That connects between the three buildings. Next slide, please. Go to the next one. This is the primary facade of the general store. The scope of work includes replacing the existing porch and the existing ramp, new accessible ramp that goes from the new porch and to the new gathering area. The existing columns will remain in place, so the roof will not be affected. We're also replacing the existing guardrails with materials to match the existing. This is the pathway that connects the existing parking lot with a general store porch. This portion that you see in this pathway will be modified a bit to accommodate the new porch that will be raised about 2 inches higher. That's because to eliminate the mini ramp at the threshold of the entrance door. This is the side view of the general store. It shows the ramp that we will be eliminating, and then we'll be extending this porch all the way to the front and connecting it with a new front porch. And then there will be a new ADA ramp that goes to the gathering area. We'll be replacing all this railing with new railing a little bit higher to comply with the code, the building code. This, you can see here the existing gathering area with pea gravel that is not accessible. And you can see the deteriorating chip seal on the existing pathway that connects between the 3 buildings. So the demolition plan that shows the demolition scope of work that I just. That's the new work plan that shows the new porch that wraps around the building and connects with the existing porch in the back, and the new accessible ramp that goes down to the new gathering area. There are elevations and some details for the ramps. And then this is the architectural site plan that shows the entire scope of work. At the top left, you can see the general store building with its new porch and ramp. And then the dark shaded area is the accessible gathering area with some new benches. And then the light shaded area is the existing pathway that will receive new replacement for that chip seal. The materials that we'll be using for the gathering area will be chip seal on asphalt, or there's another alternative is the exposed aggregate if it tends to be cost effective. But for now, we're showing all chip seal material all the way. Next, please. On the left, you can see the chip seal over asphalt, how it looks like, and on the right, this is the exposed aggregate material. Next. These are the benches that we'll be using. 2 of them will be like the top ones, and 1 of them will be like the one at the bottom with no back or arms, so people can sit on either side. And on the right, there will be a new accessible drinking fountain with water filler that the users chose to use. Listening, and if you have any comments or questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments?
Yes, could you point out where the location of the drinking fountain connections are? Please?
Yes, sure. Can we go to the newer plan, maybe A1? Yeah, here.
Oh, no. Well, that's it.
So it will be next at the left of the ramp.
Okay. So that's the first thing that greets you before you go into the say porch, right? That's the first
Yes.
onto the ramp. So
Yeah, if they're coming from the park.
okay.
So it's off of the gathering area. If we go to the site plan, architectural site plan. The one here. The dark gathering area.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your front door, kind of, right?
Yes.
Front door thing. I guess I had trouble, and I mentioned this in a workshop, that I was dissatisfied with the look of the bottom filler drinking fountain. It looks pretty cheap. It does not complement the house at all. I even said, can you get a black metal one? There's a lot of them on the market. I will not support this part of the venue at all. And such a front door, make it look something that it doesn't have to be there. It is. It's hooked up to the water to the house, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's county water, whatever. And just wondering, the rationale to put it there is because people are gathering, they're going to get their bottle and go back and forth. It makes sense to me. However, it just seems it could be, I mean, it's pretty intrusive. It's the top thing is probably pushing 5 to 6 feet tall because the bottle sits underneath it, the ADA compliance and around 32 inches. We drink the water out of. So I think I would strongly request that this is a different design element that you do position here. If it was in the back somewhere, I would not have so much of a problem. It looks cheap. It doesn't look architecturally sensitive to anything. It doesn't go with your benches. The benches are fine, even though I'd still go with something less traditional looking. Maybe there's ones that have that same vibe that is more contemporary. I did mention that before, and I mentioned the Guernsey bench forms and surfaces. But the comments on that.
And we hear you. And,
Okay.
but I do want to clarify just real quick. Can we go back to, actually just kind of slow back and I'll stop. Say stop. Go back 1, 2, 3. The pictures, the one that I saw the pictures. Okay, well, right, go back. Right there. Okay, when she said entrance of a park, it is not the entrance of the park. It's not the front door of the park. It's the front door of the store.
Gotcha.
But not the park. It's not going to be the first thing.
Right.
You're walking down a ramp.
Uh-huh.
You're going to be coming in, and this is what you're going to see. The water fountain is actually behind you on the ramp. So here's my ramp. Water fountain's going to be hidden right here. No one's going to see it. So that's why they wanted the stone to match the floor of this.
Yeah, I would strongly recommend going with the black one, go with your benches.
And black
It's
will
a
actually
sign
be shined out, and everybody's going to see it. That's where I'm not disagreeing.
for- Agreed.
I'm listening.
Agree to disagree.
Right, but I'm not. But I'm talking to like others, and they thought the stone will blend in because it blends in with the ground. It's going to match the ground.
Thing is, matches not the key. Matches the key term. It will not match it. It'll kind of look foreign. to it.
Okay.
It's a plastic key. It's a composite made stone, not the natural key ground that they have when they're like a hard pressed thing.
Okay, no, and I don't disagree. Now,
Okay.
you did make a comment before you said black. We did go back.
Okay.
We did research the black, and we found out none of them had a water filler. Park Authority standard is a water filler. The one that your almost exact comment, we can go back, was you still wanted to match the benches, the iron benches. So we went back and looked at water fountains with the
Okay.
iron. There was nothing out there with a water filler. Park Authority standard is the water filler.
I agree with you.
So
I'm
what I'm saying, I'm willing to compromise.
Yes.
And what do you think? It'd be black, but not iron.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. As long as so it's not stone like
Okay.
like this could be black in color.
Or I'll be glad to even show you what we can find, and maybe
Wonderful.
together,
Wonderful.
maybe that actually might help. if
That's
we
better
get-
than what I see right now.
Okay,
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Do you have one?
Yeah,
Oh, she has one.
In your car, you want to bring it in?
Yeah.
We
Oh,
keep
no, hold on.
actually in my phone. Is that okay? I can find the email.
Can she show you by the phone?
sure.
Ma'am,
Sorry to intrude.
can I get your name just for the record?
No, I'm in the. Hi. No, I'm joking. Heather Lynch, Fairfax County Park Authority.
Okay.
I apologize again for stepping right in. I was just like, oh.
No, I'm glad you did.
Ms. Ward, I think you have a question.
Right, remind me what the handrail material is.
It would be wood, painted wood to match the existing. And there is, the handrail itself would be painted wood, but there is a connection, the support would be metal. Black metal.
Any other questions or comments from anyone on the board?
Yeah, I kind of want to second what Joe said. I looked at this, I think that that's a brutalist sculpture sitting there, and it doesn't seem appropriate in front of the historic structure. That's my problem with it. It's not so much exactly what Joe said. It's a similar problem. In the end, it's right there, and we're going to look at it and whoa.
I don't disagree. but I also want this porch done for ADA and I want this done. So I'm willing, you're the experts and that's why we come to you. Of course, and we haven't put them. So hopefully she'll go through there. I know you said to me, don't show my comments. And I was like, are you sure?
Can you relocate it to a different location so it's not so prominent right off?
Can we put the map up? Do you guys mind to show us the map? I might, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna show you where, okay, maybe we should zoom in. Maybe that might help. Okay, so you go up there, yeah. Okay. Again, sorry for
As long as we can hear your.
Sorry. Okay, so this is the building. You're coming off the parking lot. Coming up the parking lot, you're going on the porch that we need to do for ADA. Go down these ramps, and now you're out in the big open area where you're gonna meet kids or whoever you meet. And where else do you want it? Right now, after you come off the ramp, you come around and it's hidden right here behind it. So you come down a ramp, it's like behind you. Where would you prefer?
Could you
Blow it up.
zoom in that image?
Yeah. Right now it's hidden.
Because you first indicated it was, or your colleague indicated it was at the foot of the ramp. Now you're saying it's set
Hidden.
back.
Yeah, it's hidden. It's set.
So it's on the hard surface.
It's sitting back there, and that's for ADA for a wheelchair. This is totally flat, as you can see by this little square, so the wheelchair can get right up to it. This is not. There's no reason why we picked it, because it's a perfect flat area.
And is that lighter shade of gray hard surface or gravel?
This is gonna be just, all this is, none of it's gonna be gravel. All of it's gonna be hard surface, but it's the exposed aggregate is, we want all of it to expose aggregate. Depends on money wise, it may be all asphalt with the exposed aggregate, or if we have extra money, concrete with exposed aggregate, like just in this dark area. That's why it's highlighted, just in case money comes in.
Sorry, I'm having a second.
Oh, no.
All right.
Just tell me,
Any other questions or comments?
or any other location.
Yeah. Mr. Wright, sir.
So one more, I can see what number it is. So.
This is the swell that we're doing to make the dirt lower than the porch, so it wouldn't touch the porch and it would cover the water.
Currently, it's right in the dirt. It's saturated.
Is that swell going to be concrete or a hard surface or what?
If I remember correctly, it's just regular dirt.
Yeah,
No
it's
one's
good.
gonna tell.
Okay, it's gonna be a grass swale. you mean.
Yeah, nobody else is gonna be able to tell. There's also plants in there.
Understood, thank you.
Yeah, my second question is, you had proposed two different options for paving. And generally like to approve. Was I say, hey, take your pick. So what research have you done and which are you likely to choose?
And again, this is
So-
time, but we have done, go ahead.
So we're proposing mainly the chip seal for everything, but the users wanted to use the exposed aggregate in the seating area if it is cost effective. So it depends on the budget. If it turns out that the budget is enough to use this exposed aggregate in the seating area, then they would go with it. If not, then we'll stay with chip seal.
Like asphalt versus concrete, which one we can afford. And, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let's say, is the type of gravel used will be pea gravel or the regular bluestone that you see in the world?
Gravel.
Pea gravel, that's cool. And then also, when you do this construction, will there be a sediment erosion control plan that will have, are you doing more than 2,500 square
No.
feet? Is there, no?
Less, we're definitely less because it's an existing
Good.
trail in
Okay.
Fairfax
You're
County.
just
So
going
well,
over it.
yeah,
Got
we're
it.
fine.
Any other questions or comments?
This is on the water fountain.
Oh, maybe, excuse me.
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
Aye.
Plumpy.
I move the ARB approve action item ARB 23 CRM 02 located at 10017 Colvin Run Road, Great Falls, tax map 0182010024 in the Colvin Run Mill Historical District for the proposed replacement of the existing porch and ramps at the Colvin Run Mill store for ADA compliance and replacement of the existing path to create the ADA compliant gathering area submitted and presented at the July 13th, 2023 ARB meeting with the caveat that they reconsider the drinking fountain to be to replace the submitted drinking fountain with the one presented in tonight's meeting, the black with the different configuration of the drinking fountain elements and the bottom filler. Location is fine as located. I'm sorry. Upon review of the materials, the proposed is found to meet the requirements of zoning ordinance 3101, historic overlay district.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Burns. For our recording secretary, was that, did you understand
The drinking
Drinking
fountain
fountain.
color be black
Yes, and then if she could resubmit that.
to the ARB administrator.
Yeah, to kid staff have, yes, to see a copy of that. Thank you.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Oh, yes, Ms. Orr.
So with the requirements for the county, you can't have like pumps and those cute little, yeah, like an old fashioned pump and some sort of creative solution like that.
That's just regular,
So they don't allow creative.
no, it's not
solutions
ADA, it's not
with
accessible.
water fountains. Gotcha.
An idea of you can open in. There's actually one inside of the, if you go on inside the mill, if you go inside, there's actually interactive things that children can play with the pumping and even baking and seeing how the mill turns. Please don't. And there's a whole bunch of activities in there.
But it would not be ADA in line to create one.
And that is true.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna do that vote again, just to make sure that we're clear.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So we had a first and a second. We had a motion by Mr. Plumpy, a second by Mr. Burns. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Ms. Lynch, as well.
Thank you. We didn't see you.
All right, that brings us to the fourth item on our agenda, which is ARB 23-HOL-27, the 7309 Stafford Road grading plan. Applicant is proposing the infill grading plan for a previous project approval by the ARB 23-HOL-10, which was reviewed and approved by this board on March 9, 2023. The previous approval did not include review of the grading plan. The site is currently occupied by a single-story brick and frame single home with a slab-on-grade foundation. The project consists of two proposed additions to the existing home, including a single-story addition at the southwest corner of the existing home that features a slab-on-grade foundation. A second single-story addition is planned on the east side of the existing home that will feature a walkout basement. The historic home remains intact throughout the project. Jacob Bear represents.
So David Jamison for the applicant, Mr. Barrett's here if you have any questions for him.
Just 1 second, sir. Yes, Mr. Burns.
I gotta read the
Yes, sir.
statement.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry, Jim.
John Burns, under Virginia Code Section 2.2-3112D1, 2.2-3115H, clear my personal interest in transactions brought before the Architecture Review Board involving the Holland Hills HOD. Specifically state the following from the July 13, 2023 ARB meeting. Action items ARB 23-HOL-27, 7309 Stafford Road grading plan. ARB 23-HOL-28, 7411 Ricard Lane site grading and landscape plans. ARB 23-HOL-26, 7411 Ricard Lane renovation involved the Holland Hills Historic Overlay District. The nature of my personal interest is that I own and reside in a home that is valued at over $5,000 and is located in the Holland Hills HOD. I am a member of a group of 3 or more persons who are members of which are affected by the transaction. able to participate in the transactions fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. Regarding action items ARB 23-HOL 23 and -24, 7211 Rebecca Drive for special permit and addition, and personal friends of the applicants will refuse their application.
John, thank you. Just a reminder, this was a project for a Charles Goodman Type 2 model in Holland Hills that you approved in early March for renovations to that existing historic home, as well as new additions and renovations of the existing volumes. At that time, we did not have the RC Fields grading plan for you, and we are here tonight to offer this. If we can go to the existing site plan, please. Very difficult to see, but the existing house, is there a blow, way to blow up on that?
But yeah, a little too big.
Too much.
We're working on it. Okay.
Big picture, the existing site, the scope of work remains under the 2,500 square feet or 18% allowed on the property. So there's literally no site work on the property. You can see this existing plan. There's the original house and the 3 additions. One of the additions will be removed, if you recall, and the 2 additions will be renovated. Next plan, please, which is the grading plan. You can see on the north side of the drawing, the area where there's a new retaining wall, and I direct you to the northeast corner of this drawing. You can see there's only 4 grade contours that are being manipulated just to bring water along the site wall or the retaining wall, and that is effectively all of the site work involved in the project. And so we're here for hopefully your approval for this.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments?
I'm curious, it looked to me like portions of that plan were into the 50-foot sidelines.
15-foot setback?
Yeah.
No, that's correct. You can blow up on that. All the project remains outside of the 15-foot setback. There's an existing deck there you see where it's on the left. The decks are allowed to project 5 feet into the setback. There's also a historic setback on the property for the original addition and the original house. That's 10 feet.
What about that little corner of the building?
Which corner?
So where
That's part of the original addition to the house. That's part of the historic 10-foot setback.
right. No, I get it now. I understand now. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Let's really entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Burns.
I move that the ARB recommend approval of action item ARB 23-HOL located at 7009 Chapter Road, Alexandria. Tax map 093304 lot 070. Historic overlay district. Info grading items submitted and presented to July 13th meeting. On review of the materials and proposals found to meet the requirements of zoning ordinance 3101.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Murray. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Have a nice night.
You have a good evening. All right, that brings us to our 5th agenda item, which is ARB 23-HOL 23 7211 Rebecca Drive special permit. Applicant is applying for a special permit regarding the extension of an existing deck into the front yard setback. John Malone represents the application. And I understand that I believe Mr. Burns, Mr. Kowinski are recusing themselves from this particular item.
And we're going to be hearing both together, I believe. There's one presentation
Yes.
for the 2 together.
Yes, and then I will.
Yeah.
I will also introduce item number 6, which is ARB 23-HOL 24, the 7211 Rebecca Drive addition, where the applicant is proposing the addition of a laundry closet and bath to the existing home.
name's John Nolan. I represent the homeowner. I'm on behalf of my wife. We're the property owners for 7211 Rebecca Drive. The presentation is very similar to what I presented last month, but I did add some additional angles of the view in 3D and some additional photographs to detailing of the deck to match the existing. This is the existing plat just to show the lay of the land. Glasgow Road is essentially to the north, which is to the left in that image. Rebecca Drive is east, which is the bottom of the image. If you scroll up and see it says Rebecca Drive. We are a corner house. That's our driveway that goes up into the entrance. A quick reference. This is also part of my special permit package. So this is just to show the area of the home on a tax map. We're in the center of the circle. I'm at the corner of Rebecca. Again, aerial photograph for the special. The photo on the left is the front of the house view from Rebecca Drive. On the top left, the photo on the top right is the entrance and a driveway that goes up to the right-hand side as we were looking at the plat, and a parking area there with the front steps into the house. The lower left image is the side of the house where the addition will be. That's sort of the north side of the house. That's the kitchen or the dining room on the sort of port side, and the bedroom where the addition will be back the solid portion of the house, solid wall of the house. The last image on the bottom right is the rear of the house. It's glass all the way across the back. Next. I brought these two photos. They're historic photos from Life magazine and from the Holland Hills, the book on Holland Hills. But the importance of these two images is the top image shows two things. How the front entrance was actually a protruding deck with a ramp that went down to the existing stone path. That's the ramp that I mentioned last time. It's too steep by current code. So we're proposing to bring that deck back in front of the entrance, but transition to it off the stone steps with a series of large sort of not stairs, but like lily pads that are stepping down off the main deck. There's the photo on the right on the bottom is actually showing where the new board is when we first bought the house. First area, the bank had possession of the house before we bought it. It was semi-rotten, but they thought it was a safety hazard, so they tore it off. So they tore off the historic deck. That brings us to the special permit. When we went to put the deck back on, the zoning had changed since the house was built. That existing, the footprint of the original deck was then in the front yard setback. We didn't have the time at the time. We didn't have the time to wait for the special permit. Our insurance was going to cancel us if we didn't restore the deck because there's a door that opens to a 6-foot drop. So we moved the deck back further off of the corner outside of the original historic location, but outside of the front yard setback. So we could build a deck and keep our insurance. So those two photos confirm what was the original Goodman design. This image, this is the first set of 3D images we showed last week. Or last month, I kept them for reference. That's the addition on the north side of the house. It is essentially a bathroom, a laundry room, and a closet to attach to the master bedroom. It's the solid wall, and that is shown in the previous image. There's a light monitor on the top, and it's the same height as the original. One of the comments from the last meeting was, since the light monitor was closer to the edge of the roof, would it stick up too much when you looked at it from the street? So you see in the next series of images we produced, we lowered the camera angle because at first, bird's eye view seems great when you're looking at it, but it's not as informative to what a passerby would see. So the next sheet is good. The next sheet, we lowered the camera angle so that you can actually see. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the special permit plat. Keep going. Those are the elevations.
I have.
Okay, well, I have some. Let's keep going. I'll go through that. There's some photo montage of the 3D model at the end too. That does the same job. So, right file, and it's all there. This is the plan to briefly show that along the back of the window. We can zoom in on the plan real quick because it gives a rationale to why that one wall is solid. So, the plan on the left. That's our bedroom, the longer rectangle on the right-hand side of the original existing square. addition is off in the upper right-hand corner. That back wall that faces Glasgow will be solid because it's closet, sink, and shower. So that wall is solid, but it's also the same solid wall as the original Goodman design. It's the same face to Glasgow Road as the original design. And then hopefully, as if the model images presentation, you'll see that light monitor is too strong of an object up on top of the roof. In fact, it gives some interest to the Glasgow Road facade. We'll see that. It's the next slide, please. These are the elevations. The top left is Rebecca Drive, looking up at the house. The addition is on the left-hand side, but it's pushed back off of the face. In there, you do see that the deck is brought forward. You'll see that's the deck forward all the way to the front corner of the house. That's the window into the laundry room that in plan you'll see connects to a vertical window in the back, so that there is some crossing light passing through the whole space, in addition to the light monitor on the top. On the right-hand side shows, top right shows the light monitor matching the existing, as well as the addition. It projects 5 feet off the back of the. Next slide, please. The top two are that's the after room. I was talking about that. That's the addition from Glasgow Road side with the solid wall facing Glasgow Road, and there's a dashed line there that shows the line of the existing house, the house beyond. That's the 5 feet there. You sort of see left, but that wall facing Glasgow Road is solid. The existing deck is extended now to the corner of the building, restoring it to where it was originally. Moved what was a stair that went to the uphill side of the house. We internalized to the deck, and it passes down between the deck and the addition. On the right-hand side is the view from the back side of the house. So the photo you saw, it's glass all along the back. But then the addition is the projecting wooden box with Goodman style window in the center. Next slide, please.
I have to open a different presentation. I have your old one, so let me get that one open real quick.
That was the old one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I know I uploaded the right file.
You did.
You did.
Just a date.
We could just scroll through to the couple pages that matter. Go ahead, back up. The first is the 3D images. I scroll up a few sheets, but the first sheet of 3D images.
Here we go. That one?
That's the old one still. The next sheet.
It's page 13.
Still in the old file. The old file.
It's one dated 7/12.
Yep, the wrong one.
Gosh, it's okay.
It's cool. As long as I didn't screw it up. There you go. That's the one.
Yeah.
Just one at a
Yes,
time.
perfect.
I'll briefly touch on them and then keep going. The one on the top left is the 3D image taken from Rebecca Drive. You see that the monitor is not too strong as seen from Rebecca Drive in the back there, but it's similar to the elevation. It's brings the deck to the front, which is in the back side. And over to the. So that view, that was the question: was that monitor going to be too strong as you looked at it from Glasgow Road? Here, I think you realize that it's not. That it actually offers sort of a nice bit of detail to the Glasgow Road side with the box on the top, because those are windows. And the original Goodman monitor in the center of the home, above the original bathroom, has a white glass globe that hangs down right in the center of the glass. And when you come down the hill from either side, you actually see that. So we're going to do the same thing in this one. So there'll be 2 glass monitors with 2 glass globes as you drive by. And if you could just quickly. This is a similar one. That's sort of what from the other side on Glasgow Road, because I think that was where I thought the concern was with how tall this would be seen from. So I think you see here that it's not like a funny hat on top of the and the right, please. And this I asked to have the camera angle lowered, but I guess I have to be careful what you ask for, because I think we're actually below range. But you see again here, it doesn't stick up too much in this image, and then it doesn't really get compared to the original one in the center because of how far back it is. Next slide, please. Now, if you let's go ahead and skip past. This one just shows really that when most of the year you can't even see the house. The top left is the important one here. That's another sort of a photo montage of what the house actually looks like with the model superimposed on it. You can zoom in just a little bit. You see again the nature of the monitor on the top. That was one of the main concerns addressed at the previous. I think it's not problematic. I want the next two sheets are real quick. I want to touch on for the deck because the deck is the special permit. I don't take too much time. Oh, that's a construction photo for detailing. That's the way that these windows will be built. That's all the original windows that were restored back to original with insulated glass. The original Goodman detailing with the detail on the outside. So from the outside, they appear as they were built in 1993, but with insulated glass. Top right are the two images of the existing deck. It's a pressure treated deck. The stairs will be detailed the same with the miter corner. There's typical 4x4 posts, but the pickets, if you will, are actually horizontal steel bars, half-inch steel bars, and then there is a 1-inch rail at the top with an angle iron underneath it to support it to keep the railing really thin. Also, you see the bottom left, the windows that will be going in the addition are actually Goodman original windows. The one on the right is the tall one that goes into the laundry room, and one of the two on the left goes in the bottom of the back window on the back side. So there's still going to be original Goodman casement windows, but with insulated glass. Next slide, please.
The last one.
Yeah, great. Okay. Briefly, I know the detailing of the addition. Just one last thing. We plan on similar detailing to the original home. White corner trim boards, aluminum coping, white coping on the roof. The roof is going to be flat to match the existing roof. It's a TPO roof. The roofs will be together. There'll be a scupper on the back for overflow. There's a center drain on the main roof that catches the roof water. The siding will be tongue and groove siding, similar to the original home, and the foundation will be concrete masonry blocks, similar to the original foundation. That's all.
Thank you. Ms. Moore.
Why do we weigh in for a special exception?
Because you can make a recommendation for all zoning actions, special permits, special exceptions, variances, rezonings in a historic overlay district.
I didn't realize that.
Any other board members with questions or comments? Motion.
Yes. Chairman, I move that the ARB recommend approval of action item ARB 23 HOL 23 located at 7211 Rebecca Drive, Alexandria. Tax map 0933040234 in the Holland Hills HOD. The proposed special permit application SP 2023 MV00042 regarding the extension of the existing deck into a front yard setback, as submitted and presented at the July 13, 2023 ARB meeting. On review of the materials, the proposal is found to meet requirements of zoning ordinance 3101 historic overlay district.
Is there a second? Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. The special permit is approved. Now we need to, I would certainly entertain a motion on the addition.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, I move that the ARB approve the action item ARB 23 HOL 24 located at 7318 Ripon. Oh, that's a state.
No.
Rebecca Drive addition. That's right.
So-
That's right. 7318 Ripon Road.
No, I think,
Is it written wrong in the motion?
Wait.
Is that incorrect?
so number 6. Oh, is it incorrect? Oh, sorry, here, number 6.
That should be the same thing.
It's on the agenda.
I'm sorry, I'll let you redo it, please. Mr. Chairman, I move that the ARB approve action item ARB 23 HOL 24 located at 7211 Rebecca Drive, Alexandria, tax map 933040234 in Holland Hills, HOD, for the proposed addition to the existing house, as submitted and presented at the July 13th, 2023 ARB meeting. Upon review of these materials, the proposal is found to meet the requirements of zoning ordinance 3101 historic overlay district.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Orr. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Nolan,
Thank you very
have a
much.
good
Good
evening.
job. It's gonna be a cool house.
Or
Okay, thank you. Know what that is? That's the one that dropped off. The motion. I didn't change it.
okay, it's okay. I just put located at above. And so
Good, you can,
when I
yeah.
because everything else was right. It's just the
Yeah,
address.
just the address.
Mhm.
Ah,
All right. So that brings us to our 7th and 8th action items on the agenda. Number 7 is ARB 23H1228, the 7411 Ricard Lane site grading and landscape plan. Applicants proposing the site grading and landscape master plan with gardens, pools, sidewalks, patios, pedestrian paths, and vehicular access. And also ARB 23H1226, also at 7411 Ricard Lane, the renovation. Or are you just going to do the landscaping plan?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just start with number 7, which is the site grading and landscaping plan. Ma'am, please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. We were, as you recall, we were here in June presenting the project, the landscape portion, well, actually both landscape and architectural renovation as workshop items, and we're back hopefully for approval. The last time we presented, we heard really good feedback from you, and we took this in consideration. I'm gonna fast forward through the first 8 pages, which are showing context and, excuse me, we're already familiar with the site and its location. It's in the historic overlay district. We have the existing survey with the topography, existing trees, and some additional photographs. And if we can stop on page 9, please. So this is showing the plan that we presented back in June, and we took the liberty to highlight the areas that we received comments on. So some of the comments, so in blue, we have considered reconciling the front garden circulation and think about how people approach the site. In pink, we have considered decreasing and softening the parking spaces. Yellow is showing the comment about the maintenance path, and green considering the changes to the back garden stone patio, taking in consideration aging in place. So the way we took these, and we think they helped us improve the design, we looked at the surroundings, and we looked, if we can go to the next page, please, how the surrounding houses and what their vehicular approach to the house are, in hopes of finding some unified elements. However, we found various different approaches, most of which are extensive asphalt driveways, and some of them go deep into the properties. Some of them are concrete, and a few of the close by neighbors have the white travel on the side, which is kind of a continuation of the front. So the next slide is showing how we reconfigured the design. We separated the pedestrian approach from the vehicular approach, which also helped with reconciling the overall circulation. The overall design intent has always been kind of the garden taking over and creating a slow approach to the house by inviting people to interact and engage with the garden, with the plants, and kind of create a moment of discovery interest. So if we can go to the next slide. This is, can you zoom in a little bit, please? So we created these additional 3D perspective sketches to help everyone, including us, really see the design, really understand it. And some of what these sketches are telling us that really the garden is taking over, and the paving kind of becomes a secondary circulation way of going around the site. We shortened the wall a little bit. We're adding this wall to match the big wall that is adjacent to the building and kind of creates the two levels of the garden. Next slide, please. So we've seen this slide before. And if you can go to the next one. It's a new slide. There was a comment about the pool. And so this is taking a look at the pool and how it drops less than 30 inches. It won't require a guardrail, and it's really towards the end of the pool. So if we can go to the plan, so all of this makes sense when we look at the plan view. So can you zoom to the front garden? There's a red dashed outline that is showing the existing asphalt paving. Now just slide it over.
The right spot.
Oh, let's see. So this here, which is a little bit hard to see, is the existing asphalt that we remove. We're removing all of this asphalt. Last time we were showing which is outlined in blue, this parking area, and it shifted over, and we put this sliver of garden to separate the pedestrian from the vehicular, and we also extended the garden here. So with all of these maneuvers, basically we were hearing your comments and we were trying to minimize the impact of the paving and expand the garden. In terms of materials, we're proposing the gravel as used for the vehicular parking areas. One of the comments was minimizing the parking. However, we have both of our clients have vehicles and they have their mother living with a caregiver coming to the site. So that would require additional parking considerations. Plus they have close by children who have grandchildren and they will be coming to so the other comment was about the maintenance path. We addressed that by contacting different contractors and we discussed the method of having gravel underneath and then mulch so it still forgets more as part of the garden but can accommodate heavier machinery. The comment about the flagstone, we originally were showing larger joints with planking in between. The way we addressed that was we're going to select smoother stone and we're going to create joint base. There will be the stone will be close to each other and will prevent chipping. And it will be a smooth surface. Can we go to the next slide? The next slide is showing the materials, which are, we haven't changed any of the materials other than the stone that I just described. It's going to be smoother. We are going to be matching the regular existing stone. We're going to have the concrete pavers and we're going to match the brick for the walls, for the proposed walls. Next slide, please. One other comment that we received was about the grading plan, and this is the grading plan created by RC Fields. It's showing the impact of where the grading changes are happening, It's also showing the 2 stormwater / rain gardens that are proposed to take care of the stormwater requirements. And those are, I'm sorry. There's one in the front garden right here and the secondary one to the back. And the civil engineer is also showing piping for the stormwater facilities. Next slide, please. This is showing the layout plan with the dimensions and also showing the drainage pattern, which in the paying plan. Next slide, please. This is the lighting plan. I think this is pretty much similar to what we showed you before. We're going to have very minimal lighting, avoid impact at the perimeter, and focus on highlighting some of the trees. Next slide, please. The planting plan, predominantly native plants, and we're going to be working with the client for the herbaceous perennials, ornamental grasses, ground covers. We won't be using any invasive. Next slide, please. And this is showing the overall site. It's 2 properties, and the outlot A will have additional garden rooms and exploration areas of discovery and seeking. And these are some of the details, or all the hardscape details, which are also part of the separately submitted permit set. Next slide. More hardscape details showing the walls, how the drainage will be addressed. And next slide. And with this, I will open it to questions. Before that, I will say thank you for your feedback and comments, because I think they improved the design and helped us.
Thank you. Mr. Plumpy, and then I'll get this.
I just had one real quick comment on the lighting plan. I didn't see if you had lights on the steps, on the pathways, maybe consider.
Yes, there are the pathway light and the wall light.
On the lower terrace there, those long runs of steps, right in the front yard, beyond the garden wall.
Those are actually stepping stones.
Oh, what's that?
Those are actually stepping stones.
Okay, is
So
there?
the steps are only in the.
I'm just gonna say. Garden.
Yeah, just like a pathway.
Yes, that only we're kind of. Just a little safety thing.
Yes, thank
That's
you.
all. Just, that's fine. I think you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for listening.
Gravel for the walking, what's the base for that? Is it going to be, because as we age, I'm having a hard time walking on gravel because it doesn't support me well enough. And I just wondered if you're going to, because since aging is part of the thing, a lot of gravel in the front, pathways and experiences. I just wondered if that's, I didn't really see what you planned for the basic gravel.
Yeah, thank you for this question. So there are 2 different methods for the vehicular gravel use. We'll be using the LHG support, which allows you to really compact it, and then you add additional layer of compaction, so that since that will be also part of the walking surface. And then for the pedestrian, we'll have, I think it's 4 inches of sub base that will be really well compacted, and then we'll have the gravel on. And we'll have the steel edge on the side, which would also help with that side shift that I think you would see.
Just going to that comment, what might be nice for your client is also what's called a binder. Basically, it's a chemical that you put onto the gravel that it binds it, so it's almost like concrete, but it isn't, but it's still porous, kind of. So it's not loose gravel anymore. It's kind of, so it binds the gravel together aesthetically.
Yes, we
Just
will.
think of
Yeah, we looked at that actually,
Maybe
and
not.
I had another client who used, excuse me, the gravel lock,
Okay.
and she was not a fan and ripped it up and used gravel.
Okay.
And then the gravel lock it has the more shiny material, and then the organic lock is less shiny but looks a little bit more commercial versus the garden look that we're going for.
I was gonna say, we found a product that is aesthetically pleasing, because I mean the same concern, there's too much sheen to it, but we found one that is very transparent and doesn't look like anything. So, okay.
Great.
That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Other questions or comments? I certainly entertain.
Sure. Item number 7, correct? Yes.
Yes, sir.
ARB 23 HOL 287411 Ricard Lane site grading and landscape. ARB motion to recommend approval. Mr. Chairman, I move for the ARB recommend approval of action item ARB 23 HOL 20 located at 7411 Ricard Lane, Alexandria. Tax map 0933040178 in the Holland Hills HOD. Proposed site grading and landscape master plan as submitted and presented at the July 13th, 2023 ARB. On review of the materials, the proposal is found to meet the requirements of zoning ordinance 3101 historic overlay districts.
Right, is there a second? Mr. Kalinsky with a second. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Good job.
All right, that brings us to our final item for action, which is ARB 23 HOL 26, also 7411 McCart Lane renovation. Applicants proposing the restoration of and in addition to an original 1953 Charles Goodman design home. And,
Good evening, Michael Cook, representing Aaron Daniels and Lisa Dizzuti for the building component. Presentation is pretty much the same as it was the last time we were here, except for slide 27, which is the very last slide. And there was some questions about the height of the carport. And if you could please zoom in to this drawing. So we've actually included Aaron's F-150 with a roof rack. If you zoom in a little bit more, you can actually see the kayak on the roof. And we have, so there is a dropped beam in the center of the butterfly roof. That's an 8-inch steel tube. And we have 18 inches clear for this particular kayak, but we were hoping to keep a little bit of extra space in case that boat happens to change to a canoe or some other boat. So we are at this juncture, we're actually going to presenting to keep the carport at the same height. And I'd like to add to that the fact, the other more important part, well, not the more important, but equally important is the person you can see in the window, which is sort of looks like they're almost like riding on top of the truck, but that's actually inset in the kitchen window. And that's another reason why we put the roof height at that level. So there's a clear view looking out over the car and then out into the view to the east. Other than that, we haven't modified any of the design whatsoever. We've just been working more closely with the structural engineering, and there's been no other changes to the building. So we're here tonight to ask for final approval.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments from the board? Mr. Kalinsky.
I think in the previous position for the grading and landscaping, the presentation of the house really helped me to see how this would feel. And I have my opinion, especially how those really this house, this design, and that landscape. So.
Anybody else? If not, I'll certainly take a motion from anyone with. Motion. Mr. Kowinski.
Chairman, I move that the ARB approve action item ARB 23-HOL-26 located at 7411 Ricard Lane, Alexandria, 933-04-0178 in the Holland Hills Historic Overlay District for the proposed renovation and additions to the existing as submitted and presented at the July 13, 2023. On review of the materials, the proposal is found to meet the requirements of the zoning ordinance 3101-historic overlay district.
Thank you, Mr. Kowinski. Is there a second? Mr. Burns, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Good job. Thank you very much.
All right. I'm proud of my.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one.
Let's keep going.
It's kind of like the weather. It's
All right, so next. They're not here.
I know, I'm.
Who could have predicted?
Well, and one is even dropped off. So I know, well, there were 3 in a presentation and one's dropped off.
It's all virtual, right? That's the-
No.
We have to come in on the.
No, you have to.
See, I
I'm-
thought that too.
It did say.
I'm sorry. I apologize. No virtual.
Make sure Kareem knows that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's why I said, yeah,
No, you're fine. Let me keep us moving. Okay, items for workshop. I'll see you here in person on Monday, July 17th at 6:30 in these
Oh.
rooms, as well for workshops and presentations. Board and staff items. Has everyone had a chance to review the previous month's minutes from our June 8th, 2023 meeting? And does it have any changes to it?
We did receive one revision, and the revised minutes went out today.
Any other revisions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes and pay our reporting secretary.
For the minutes as submitted.
Is there a second? Yes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Kay, you just, I know, Kay, you did.
Next time.
I'm gonna stare right at you because everyone else is just louder. I don't know.
I'm sorry if I jumped in over.
Notice I didn't jump in at the beginning when you were having to read all that.
All right, our treasurer's report as of June 30th, 2023, we have an ending balance of $11,126.61. Denise, is there anything to add to that?
Only that you all should be receiving the 2024, FY 2024 contribution in this coming month. So it should double.
All right, administrative items. First, National Trust membership renewal.
So your National Trust membership expires in August. A organization renewal membership is $250.
Ms. Burns.
I move we pay the money.
Very
Does anyone have a second?
Sure.
Ms. Orr.
Got one in there.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any abstentions? Or any opposed? No. Okay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. They're never going to be
Brian, will the minutes reflect the laughing and the.
Right. All right. The next item, which I think might be a somewhat exciting announcement about update update?
Actually, I have two more administrative items that got put on just recently. I sent out an email about camp training for, so then we just, DHR is partnering with the National Alliance for Preservation Commissions and the City of Virginia Beach. I sent an email out today, a live day-long camp workshop, which is focused on resilience and disaster planning for historic preservation. And that's is in the City of Virginia Beach. And they are sort of at the epicenter, if you will, of this issue. So it should be really good training if you all are interested. But it's free, but registration is held to 50. And I would encourage you all to register soon if you're interested in doing that. September 15th is the date. And then the second one is I wanted to highlight the NAPC short course summer camp that they have, 2 days at the end of August, August 23rd and 24th. It's $50 per registrant with the code. But there are AIA and AICP credits available, 11 to continuing education credits available. So August 23rd and 24th.
Planner 3.
Staffing, yay! I get to make a very exciting announcement, which I scrolled past, sorry. So we have hired a Planner 3 ARB administrator for this position. His name is Daniel White. He holds an MA in Historic Preservation from University of Georgia, College of the Environment and Design. His bachelor's is also from Auburn University in Environmental Design. He's worked in states throughout the Mid-Atlantic and Southwest regions, including Virginia, Maryland, DC, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, and Florida, surveying and documenting design landscapes, historic building structures, districts, and linear resources, and completing determination of eligibility reports. He also has Habs Hair Howell's experience, including large format photography and preparation of archival packages for transmittal to the National Park Service. His first day with the county will be Monday, July 31st. So his first ARB meeting will be September 14th. Round of applause, please. Yeah, yes, yes. So.
Is that a 3-year or 5-year contract?
No, we can't go. We're just going to chain him. Daniel White. And it's going to be very confusing in our office because we already have a Daniel White. So, yeah.
So would he be taking your place at the meeting?
He'll be taking my place at the meeting.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Then you were here, right? Are you the new person?
I'm an intern.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, and I should introduce, I think, well, Emma wasn't here at the last meeting. I said, I introduced you, but you weren't here. So this is Emma Grusbeck. She is the intern, our intern for the summer. She is starting her historic preservation master's degree at the University of Maryland in like 2 days or something like that. No.
In August, I'm getting a dual master's in historic preservation and anthropology.
So will you be here in September, or is this a?
So no, Emma will not be here in September. No,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, welcome and thank you.
Denise, would you be here?
I will be here in September. I won't push him that. But yeah, I think that would be a lot. At least one more meeting with me. Yeah.
Okay, so even though we're getting someone new, number of staff voted to this. Increase.
So I have a second announcement. That's the next part B. So we are interviewing for the Planner 2 position, which is for the staff reports. And I really think that we will probably have that position filled by the September 14th meeting. So there'll be two new positions here. Yep.
Great. Any other staffing updates?
No, that's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, our meeting schedule, in person on Monday, 17th at 6:30 in these rooms. And a special reminder, we will not meet in August. Be our next meeting.
A real quick comment.
Yes.
I noticed the Wi-Fi on here is much better than the other.
Interesting.
Just
Oh.
I just noticed it with my iPad anyway. I don't know if you can see.
Actually,
Okay, see at the bottom.
I wanted
It seemed like it was better in this room. Not, I'm just a comment.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay, well, that's,
I use my phone. I didn't think about that.
it's good to know, right? We can try to request 2, 3 over 4, 5.
It seems to be a better room. I don't know, just.
Okay, good to know, yeah.
Should I make changes to that?
You should just make a note.
Make changes to that for my meeting?
Just make a note right now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Although we still would rather have really,
Have what?
we still want to have the nice video screens down the way.
For that room that here. Oh, yeah. that's-
Oh, the little conference room, I know, yes, yeah, I like that room as well. They don't, that's not one available to us routinely. We can't choose it to reserve that room. I'm not sure why.
I think the electoral board has dibs on it. I think.
It's always empty the nights
I know.
Okay, I'm
Except-
not-
when there's the election votes.
All right. Discussion update reports, Lorton Workhouse Master Plan.
Sure.
Yeah.
This past, I think it was on Monday. Was it
2 days ago, Tuesday.
Tuesday, thank you. Thank you, Samantha. It was presented by the consultants to the workhouse board, which I'm on, as well as some kind of, and it also was presented to DHR a month or so before that with very similar comments with us, nothing earth shattering, just, you know, when you do something, you're going to have to make sure that you don't obscure or hurt the integrity of the building and that kind of thing. The big concern was the housing on the north side, which is, if you look at the plan, it's on the left side. Make sure it's not too high, make sure it's compatible, contemporary. So that's definitely, there's a segregation. Streetscape, the corridor green LAs that are on the east-west axis, side of the back side of the building is supported. Also was supported was the 2 venues. The ball field would turn into a minor pavilion, the outfield, but the music broadcasting towards the like guard towers with the 3 guard towers would be the perimeter of that side of the ball field where the dugout is now. That appears where the plant can reserve. I think you could still do a small pickup game if they wanted to, you know, for wiffle ball or little leaguers without hitting the pavilion. Very small pavilion structure. So they actually have money in it this year. I heard from the county that they will regrade that whole ball field area so it drains, so they can actually use it for performances. But right now, the music barn, everybody loves the music barn, but it's like a $20 million ticket, if not more. By the time they do it, they double, who knows. So that's probably like 5 to 7 years out. So they can do that ball field maybe within the next 2 to 3. I get some fun to do, and stage, and electric, and so forth, to get events there, to get the place active. They had a very successful 4th of July fireworks thing. They did not have a successful. It's I think it's August or September. They did sell them tickets. They were going to I'm on board, so they were going to lose $50,000+ to do this. Thank you for the kind of support. Super terrible on that. Leon, if you know, he is reported there. He was a mutual agreement to depart from the CEO, I guess, CEO of the workhouse. And Rachel, I can't pronounce her last name. She's a board member. She's been there for like 2 years. And now she is the new CEO. She seems to be a dynamic person. Go get her. She lives in Fairfax Station right down the street. But I think we're on the right track now. We'll see what happens. But the master plan was enthusiastically approved. The big thing is traffic, cars, parking structure. But I think it was sensitively done. Version 1 and 3 were melted into 4A, whatever you call it. And then I think actually, to my surprise, I was very skeptical if they were going to do a nice merge. I think it looked pretty good, frankly. It's not overpowering. The maximum number of units, they're going to maybe push for 110 affordable housing or something. Only on the north, excuse me, on the north side, which is along Norton Road there, as opposed to having both sides of the quad. So the right-hand side, which is the south side by the ball field, and that would be more artsy kind of, with some retail coming out of like the old that little outbuilding, little railroad, excuse me. I'm sorry, thank you, engine house. They have big plans. You know, anybody wants to do it for that old boiler plant to turn into a jazz venue or something kind of music dining place there, which is, I mean, it's a cool building. It's like Mike's American Grill style, great. Funny Man thing, I've been, when I went there, I took some pictures of it. I should probably download it and show you guys, but to my surprise, it's better than I thought it was going to be, frankly, because, you know, it has that boardwalk, concrete boardwalk, which is good, but they have the stormwater management facility around it. I think it's actually going to turn out okay. I still question if people hang out along with reservation there. I think Funny Man will help. There's no food and beverage there now. They won't open, unfortunately, I think, if I recall, because of the stair issue. Not until next year. Not this fall. It's not going to happen until next spring, which is a real bummer, unless I misunderstood. But being on the board, it's been an eye-opening. It's my first year on it, and it's interesting. I will say this, and maybe this is I better not since I record, but I think what happens is I think needs to be more momentum for more things happening sooner instead of having these gaps, like 3 months gaps for the next event or something. I expressed on the radio for meetings. You know, one like 4th of July fireworks, great. Okay, their next big thing is the haunt, which is, you know, that's in between. There's not too much. I think they're trying to change it. But the master plan's not going to be started for some time. Implementation is probably still has got the zoning approval. The overall budget to build all the things on the master plan in today's dollars with escalation over 5 years. $400. I think the first phase, they could easily spend a third of that money, probably a third of it, because they have to build parking. It'll take music requirements, the theater, like that. So the counter then is there's no public transportation. It's all drive. So, you know, I think it's it's for maybe our generation and definitely the next generation. I'm hoping, I'm a true optimist. I hope like in 5 years to see travel happening there, or to do some of these new facilities. They will do the theater, which is the one in the very back right away. That's number one. The ball field regrading is number two. Then there's another building. So I think sorry I'm long-winded on that, but I'm kind of excited about it. So it's done.
All right. The rested master.
Oh, gosh, that is a moving target. And I have dates, but I'm afraid to say them because I think they've changed. On June 28th, the Planning Commission voted to defer a decision to July 12th, but I think that's changed. So yeah. So I think it changed since I recorded that, which was maybe Monday. And then the Board of Supervisors was supposed to be Tuesday, July 25th, but I don't think there's enough time between that planning. Yeah. So the dates have changed, and I don't have them. I apologize. It's evolving. The 19th. Sorry. Yes. No. Thank you. Thanks.
Why?
No, I don't. Yeah, I think there's just public. Oh, thank you, Ryan. Okay, so here, this is what the website says. The Planning Commission has scheduled an additional public hearing. So I guess to get more input for the Reston Comprehensive Plan Amendment on Wednesday, July 19th at 7:30 here. Anyone who testifies at the public hearing on June 14th is on record and does not need to testify again. So that this is just how you can testify. So, and then the Board of Supervisors public hearing is now scheduled for Tuesday, September 12th. Thank you. And they are coming to you all to give a presentation on Monday. So we'll hear about that on Monday. Yeah.
Any correspondence or announcements?
I sent out an invitation to the Lidl grand opening. Yeah.
Can I comment?
Yes.
Our firm, Studio 39, did the retail center, but I basically just and the retail center was the Lidl's. It's at 7:45 a.m. open house. What sort of opens up at 8. The event is there. Circle will be there. Supervisor will be. So when it gets a fresh milk further. I honestly, God, what I'm anxious. I've never really been on that retail center after during construction. One of those things that I just never go that way. So I'm anxious. See some solar panels.
If I'm not mistaken, the day before.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. So in that invitation, there's also Friday, the Friday before. Let's see, open house the day before, July 25th from 5 to 7, and there's going to be face painting and balloons and such. Yeah. But if 3 or more, so the public meetings statute has changed due to a decision by the Supreme Court. So now I need to know if you all are going to, whoever might be going to this, I need to know if you're going to be there because I have to advertise it as a public meeting if 3 or more of you are going to be there.
So I happen to want to go there, not for the ribbon cutting.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't need to tell you. Right?
No, you don't need to tell me, but this is an event that's being orchestrated that you all might all come together for. And if that is the case, then it needs to be advertised as a public meeting.
Have a gavel with this?
No, but we do have to record who was there, what the event was for.
I'm probably going to be there. I'm an 80% chance of being there.
Okay, so we have one.
Everybody else go. And Lord,
Which I can't make Monday's meeting.
I thought it was, even if we happen to be walk to one another.
I mean, I just err on the side of safety. Rather than not talking to one another, let's just put it on the public events calendar. It just.
I would think that from an ethics standpoint, they'd be more concerned that we're seemingly accepting a favor from someone when we made a decision. Not the public meeting part of it,
Right.
ethics part of it seems to be.
Right.
You're trying to get lawyers.
Well, I'm not sure what you would gain that anybody else wouldn't gain by attending that event, though. So
Let's give them a free year of porn.
well, what? Well, if they're handing out corn to everybody, then you're not particularly. So anyway, it's all about the public meeting. That's what I have to say. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yes, and I just wanted to let you all know that I did distribute the individual members' comments on the Forestville School HVAC system to the Great Falls Grange Foundation, and they were appreciative of your comments. So thank you very much.
All right. Do we have any old business?
I have nothing.
I do see some new business about volunteer representatives needed.
Right, I had sent out an email previously about this. It's they're asking BACs for their thoughts, opinions, and experiences related to the demographic composition of BACs. They're running focus groups. Each focus group will last 1 to 1.5 hours. I think you'll only be involved in one of the focus groups. They have 2 August dates, 2 September dates. I sent all of this out in an email. Let me know if you need the email again. Chris Daniel has already volunteered to be one of the BAC representatives from the ARB. They'll take up to 2, so if anybody else was interested, please let me know and I'll put you in touch with that person.
Other new business.
I'm scrolling down.
Mr. Burns.
All right, a couple of things tonight. That very first submittal we approved tonight was so poorly constructed and presented. I think it should have been rejected out of hand, but it was a relatively minor issue. Concern is, are we setting a precedent for someone who will look at that tape and say, that's all I need to do? And so I think that I kind of put the blame on myself. The reason why I came up with this comment is I looked at that and I thought, that's not, but I didn't do anything about it. I didn't call you and ask you to tell the applicant, you got to shape up and do a better presentation. When the second person staff, that should have been something staff level.
Yes, yes, and yes, agreed.
My primary concern is setting the precedent of us approving things.
And I will tell you that they were perplexed by all of that. They submitted their permit in January and I flagged it telling them that they had to come to the ARB. And I've been working with this applicant since January to get them here. And they didn't submit, Megan, thank goodness, called them today because we didn't have a presentation. I never had a name. I was dealing with permits at ion.com the whole time. And
The customer service line in Utah.
They did.
When you get stonewalled like that, I would just say, no.
yeah,
You're going to need to read the requirements.
Yes.
You're going to need to put together a reasonable presentation. Before we'll even put at least your time, and it's okay, but it wastes our time as well.
yes, thank you.
How long did we have to get? 5 or 6 people Googling.
Only because I wanted to make sure it just wasn't a big mistake.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's reasonable what you guys did was reasonable.
Anyway, that's the only reason I got it.
We did that guy's job for him.
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that input. I wholeheartedly agree.
Also, this is something Joe caught, and I'll bring it up since I'm the guy who generally brings these kinds of things up. I don't think we had any members. Ever once called.
That was
for
my fault.
public
We have
comment.
to do all this?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
You guys ever do this at the meeting?
Oh, I don't believe so. We say public comment and I'll double check, but we did say members of the public will have the opportunity to speak. But I mean, if somebody had,
That's my fault.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. I'm not used to doing this.
Usually somebody else speaks up, but nobody spoke up.
Chris has got very conscious every time.
So, yeah, so it's first application.
so those public comment pings, they're in the motions and maybe they need to be someplace else, not the motions, but maybe even in the agenda, if you're following the agenda, because I say it before the motion, there's like, it's highlighted, it says public comment.
It does.
Yeah, so maybe it needs.
And the problem is I normally, I weren't the chair. As the chair, I don't know.
Yeah, yes, right. So maybe that reminder needs to be in front of each applicant.
Something to figure
Yes,
out.
yep, appreciate it.
It's a procedural glitch.
Yep.
This is the only time it ever happened in my 12 years.
And none of us caught it.
And nobody in the public.
Yeah, right.
There's people in the parking lot now rioting.
coming in from the concert.
But it is a FOIA issue, so that's in the public meeting, it is a public meeting issue, and that's, yeah, I appreciate that, thank you.
My last comment is, we got an email about the deck boot camp.
Yeah, I don't.
Deck guidelines. Remember, these are the things that tell you what you need to do to get a permit to build a deck. Nothing to do with aesthetics. 100% structure. People are looking at that stuff. I sent an email to you and Chris. My concern is that people are going to think, well, that's what the county requires, I'll build it. And we're going to get a bunch of really crummy looking decks that adhere to that structural diagram. Nobody gets a whit of them. We already had that go through and permits approved because it's kind of outside the normal process. My concern is Fairfax County seems to be advocating for looking inadequately designed decks from an aesthetic standpoint. They're going to stand up forever, unfortunately.
Well built, but.
They're not awful, they're dreadful things. And these boot camps, they're going to be telling people this, and this, you know. People, okay, that's what I got to do. That's what I'll do. And it's just going to reinforce it. So I'm quite concerned that that standard, the minimum standard for structural design is going to become the Fairfax County maximum standard. And the deck guy is going to go, well, that's what the county requires. And they said, no, but I want it to look good. And well, that's going to take some time, you know. And I've got other people who are waiting on my time. And it's just, all right, just build it. Oh, we're left with this stuff. I'll be with this, you know, if we use pressure treated wood, well, that's a 40, 50 years. But I'm quite concerned about it. I had no idea how to address the issue.
Yeah.
Who to talk to? I can rail to you guys, but I don't know. Where do I get? How does one deal with this? And it struck me this one Fairfax thing might be a solution to it. That doesn't sound like they're interested in discussing what I'm talking about.
No, I think that's more about, again, the demographic makeup of the boards, and yeah.
Everybody in the board has so much to do with it. The demographic makeup of the board is determined by the board of supervisors.
Yeah. But the problem is the board of supervisors.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not for my rant.
Actually, it's not
Thank
a
you
board,
for
it's not a board of supervisors item, no. That's something you could, like the historic about. It's the kind of thing they get into.
Yeah.
And also with that bridge that they came, I mean, help me.
Oh, the bridge in
That-
Fairfax County?
Yes,
Yeah,
from
that's
Holland Hills.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And we had to accept it because this is what the county,
Well,
Yeah.
that goes back to when they did that road, the back door road into Norton Prison. That I was had to be beat out this and this, cut down all the trees, you got to put gravel shoulder. Blah, blah, blah.
I keep telling you,
I'm
those
a-
were
still
historic
burn.
trees.
What's that?
Those were historic trees.
I know, I still burn them each of the day. Sorry, that's on the Liberty property. But it's perfect. Gotcha. It's like a drinking fountain. Thank you for sticking up. But was that?
It was 60 inches tall.
I was, yeah, I mean, it's hideous.
it's hideous.
Somebody's going to come on Halloween and put a hat on.
We'll make a scarecrow.
Yeah. That's what they want to do. So that email about the deck, of course, is
Yes,
that
yes.
from you?
No, that was from Mr. Burns.
Some other part of the county.
Okay, did I get that? Did we all get it?
Yeah.
We all did.
No,
It went out to, I think, the people who are on the construction listserv. They get those things.
So how did you get it?
Someone probably signed up.
For deck?
Of course, it's a construction listserv. They tell me when contracts are coming up. I don't know why, but I get these things.
I can look and see what the origin of that was and see if I can find it and send it to everybody, you know, what department is setting that.
Somebody else.
Oh, did that? Okay. Well, I'll just, on your email, I'll see if I can just track down the listserv.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, please send it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know that y'all are doing
The
a lot
LDS. Okay. Here,
outside of the room.
Thank you.
It's like, oh my gosh, now what? Because,
You don't gotta step up.
well,
There's nothing that, there's a problem solved.
it just, I feel like we just cut out a leg from under us when y'all walk out of the room. I just, you know, and maybe that's just me, but,
Don't have skills and knowledge, expertise. I mean, it's-
I'm not sure John and I have another mutual friend, so I think.
Yeah, we're
That's
personal
why you're
friends.
I didn't know that.
well, we
He
can take
used to
out
work
your
for-
friends.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't.
His friend wanted to do something.
I know.
That's right.
I was afraid that it was because
Okay,
y'all
don't
are talking.
That's key.
Oh,
No, okay, so
But
it
they're
was just,
personal friends. My
Okay.
rule of thumb in Holland Hills is if I've had dinner at their house, that's a personal friend.
well, that's gonna be a lot of people, John.
No, I haven't had
Bad.
Okay, well, I thought it was because y'all were meeting people ahead of time and talking to them ahead of time.
No, he used to work, John used to work for me.
Okay,
The applicant used to work, I mean, know him well. We used to play hockey together.
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's that kind of thing. But when we met, Steve and I went and met with
Yeah,
Michael Cook and those folks. And I told them, I said, I'm okay reviewing this, you know, I said, my rule of thumb is if I've had dinner. No, he invited me for dinner.
He invited me. I'm trying to get you to recuse yourself.
Smart.
exactly.
Politics.
Strategic.
I know, right?
All right, anything else? Our fearless leader will be back on Monday.
Yes, he should be here,
So who's
Monday.
here on
I won't be here,
I think everybody.
but not in charge.
Monday? That's fine. But can I have an excuse to go virtual? I'll try and make it here.
You have to have a quorum physically present to hold a meeting.
But it should be relatively quick, right?
I know, I can look into it, but it seems to me that even to open the meeting, because you're going to, you make a motion to accept the agenda, move, yeah, so, yeah. Sorry, folks. We could have had it, listen, I never thought eight action items out in 2 hours?
The thing is, we actually.
Well, honest to God,
review them.
Steve's right, dude.
before
I
we
don't care to leave me here at 9:30, 8:30.
Amazing,
That's
amazing.
right for you too. Yeah.
But also these things that come before us.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
When you do the two-step process,
Yeah.
it becomes much smoother.
agreed.
Something you should be.
I push, I try,
Put it on the
yep.
website.
It,
Approved on first try.
yes.
John, you do make a good point, because that is money they're paying a consultant to sit here for 2 days. Yeah.
And the question is,
Anyone wants to make a
And-
motion?
Adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? We're adjourned.
Thank you.
God, I don't have to-
Thank you all.
Wow.